Hi everyone, my name's Michelle and I'm on MyLovesUGB here on FlossTube, but also on Instagram and Etsy as well. Welcome to the Sunday morning briefing. It is the 16th of July today. It's my best friend's birthday tomorrow, so happy birthday, Lindsay. I know you don't really want to watch any further than this, so happy birthday. You can shut off now, you're done. I was away last week. I didn't make a video last week. We had some friends to stay, which was really lovely. And so I just knew that I wouldn't get a chance to film. But what that does mean is that I have had 2 weeks unattended, and this is probably going to be quite a long one. So I've got myself a brew in my beach therapy cup. 1 more week to go and then it will be beach therapy. Now I've only just made it, so it's probably roasting hot. But if you intend to join me for the whole of the video in one go, I would suggest that you probably need a brew as well, because I have got lots and lots to show you. Now, before I start, I have made some extensive notes on the back of a Patchwork Rabbit envelope. The first thing is to say is that you might remember back in, was it May? I can't remember, May or June? Can't remember, honestly can't remember. I went to a Stitchy day in Bristol run by Sue, who is the thenotcross-stitcher, and she let me know that she is doing another Stitchy day on the 30th of September. So I unfortunately can't go because it is the Great British Sampler weekend, but if you're not going to that and you want a fabulous Stitchy day, then go along to that. I think it's in the same place as it was last time, which is the Engineer's House in Bristol, which is a fabulous venue, and whatever they are charging, it is worth it for the lunch alone. Okay, so definitely make sure you go on that one. And then the other thing that I forgot to do last time I filmed was Chrissy, who is finally a farm girl, had given me the opportunity to do a giveaway of one of her charts, and it was the sampler for Mary Alice Parker 1861, and it's this beautiful sampler here. It says, "Happy the children who are gone to live with Christ and see his face alone," who's wrong line. You know when they go off to the end of the line, you sometimes think it's one line and it's not, it's the other line. I'm not terribly great on scripture, so let's have another go. "Happy the children who are gone to live with Christ and see his face, who stand around his glorious throne," that makes more sense, "redeemed by blood and saved by grace." So if that is something that you would like to stitch, it will come via a PDF. If you can put the word, let's go farm, in your comment, then in a couple of weeks' time I will pick somebody and I will do a giveaway for that, and I will send that to you courtesy of Chrissy, finally a farm girl. She also gifted me 2 of her other charts, which are both Halloween charts, so I'll put the pictures up there because I forgot to print out the cover pages. So thank you so much for those, Chrissy. I really do appreciate it, and thank you for giving me the chance to do a giveaway for all the subscribers. Right. Those are the 2 things that I had jotted down. Everything else is in a pile in front of me. There's a lot of stitching. I have done a lot of stitching. I am pleased with myself in the last 2 weeks. I have got, I'm going to move the tea out of the way because that would be typical, wouldn't it? I have got 1, 2, 3, 4 finishes. I've worked on 3 other things and done a new start, and I've got 2 fully finishes as well. So this is my July page covered in all these lovely ladies. So I do green highlight for a finish, pink highlight for a new start, and generally if I finished something I give myself a gold star as well, but I can't find the gold stars at the minute. They've slipped out the bottom of my book. I've also done a bit more stickering because I was in the mood for stickering. So August has kind of got a beachy theme at the moment, a sea theme. September is some stamps at the moment, but I'm going to add to that one, I think. October is going to be obviously Halloween. And November currently is kind of like berries and plants. So I haven't done December yet. I'm going to wait for December. But I've really enjoyed this book this year. I didn't know if I would. Because I was quite into recording things on a spreadsheet, and then I sort of fell out of love with it, and I wasn't sure how good I was going to be at recording things, but I really have enjoyed this, and I'm looking forward to the next one already. I also got a little card in the post this week. This is from Vivian, who we know has, I've bought a few things from Vivian in the past, and her husband make the wooden boxes that I've showed you in the past. I haven't got one to show you now, but I have showed you them in the past. Right, let's get on. So, my first finish, these are not in any particular order. My first finish, let's just pull him this way, was the Jackrabbit. I finally finished putting in those purple flowers and all those little purple doodads. So this is the spring set from Cottage Garden Threads. He is finally finished. There we go. This is on 36 count hand dyed fabric. So I hand dyed the fabric to kind of make it look like the suggested Picture This Plus. And I'm sure I've shown you this before plenty of times, but just for those who haven't seen it or are new today, this is the winter ones, or these are the winter ones. And I must admit, I quite thought once I'd finished the Jackrabbit that I would probably put it away. But on the day, I just had other ideas. So I have gone ahead and started the autumn. And the first one in the autumn is the woodpecker. So the woodpecker, the bat and the beaver are the autumn animals, and they are on this kind of browny coloured fabric, sort of a vintage country mocha colour, and that's as far as I've got. Now, the eagle-eyed amongst you will see that I've already made a bit of an error. It's going to be a bit of a theme for today. I've already made a bit of an error in the fact that I have started colouring in the bark work in red. My only defence is that that is the symbol for 814, which is red, and that is the symbol for 829, which is the colour I should have been doing it. And they are vaguely similar. Vaguely. So I now have the job to do of, as I come to those, I'm going to sort of start taking them out and replacing them with the proper colour. Ooh, that's a bit of a glare out. Let's come over this side. There we go. So I've got his tail in. For some reason, I don't think this one's going to take as long because there's more bigger blocks of colour than there was in the other one. So that's what I'm telling myself anyway. We shall see. There's no rush. It's not going to be finished by this year. So however much I get done is a bonus. I also did another strawberry. So it's this one in the middle here, which is the bee. So this is from the Bristol Berries 2 collection from Erica Michaels. That one is from the Bristol Berries 1, as is that one. The elephant is charted by Crow's Feet Stitching Ruthie. I'm just making sure I'm not dangling one end of this in my tea. I've left a bit of a gap on the bottom because the thing that I want to do is the bigger berry, which is the squirrel. So I have kind of got on this side a pile of bags which have got various charts and things in them. that's Bristol Berries 2, and the bee is the one I've just stitched, and that is Bristol Berries 1, and I want to do that one, I think. Or is that the big one? Yeah, that's the full squirrel, so it's going to be a much bigger berry, I think. They probably suggest that you do it over 1 to keep it the same size as the others, but I'm going to make it big berry. So that's the one I want to do, that's where I've left the gap. And those are Ruthie's Smalls, based on her Bristol. So I've done the elephant. So that is my Bristol bag, as you would say. So pretty much everything I've showed you so far is on 36 count fabric. This one is using sulky threads, and these ones are using the called for threads, but 2 strands rather than 1. I can hear my little swatch upstairs. Now it is quite late, it is 5 to 10, and she is not asleep yet. We've spent today redecorating her bedroom. So I started about a year ago. Her floor needed fixing. We have very old floorboards, so we had to fix the floor about a year ago. So we had the carpet up, fixed the floor, and I sort of painted most of her room. But when she was very small, she had this beautiful map taking up 1 full wall. And over the years, it's just got a bit damaged. And so we'd asked her if she wanted something different. And she'd chosen one of those big mural wallpaper scenes. You know, it's like 3 meters by 2.5 meters or something, takes up the whole wall. And she'd wanted this kind of nebula, this sort of space type nebula. So it's been sat in a box next to her room probably for a year. I am super good at ignoring things. It's one of those things where it's only taken a day to do, but that day seems to have been a long time coming, because you know what a small child's bedroom like, you've got to wade through and take out all the rubbish, and it was just a daunting job. So we've done it today. Thankfully my mother is an expert wallpaper hanger, and so she did the bulk of the telling and the sort of hanging, and I did the sort of helping hands sort of. But it looks good. It looks good. Once we've got her full bedroom back together, I might take a photo of it and show you. But it was good. But she's stomping about up there like a fairy elephant. So luckily her dad's in the living room and he can deal with her. Right, what else have I stitched on? I have also stitched on and finished this next thing. Now we're in a bit of a Jenga situation on the on the right hand side here. There we go. I have finished the blue flower. So this is Halloween Parade. This was my favourite design when it came out at market, probably 2 years ago, if not a little bit more. It might even be 3. 2020. And I stalked and stalked every cross-stitch shop in the UK until someone finally had it in, and it was Arts and Designs. I remember they were the first to get it in, and I bought it then. And I finally got around to finishing it off. So this is a piece of, it's either 36 count or 38 count, I'm not entirely sure. It could be 38 count actually. Fabric that I hand dyed myself, and it's quite a mottled fabric, so I chose the more mottled end, and it's stitched in all the colourful colours except for there was no black in the original pattern, but I've made this dog black and this bird black because you know, it's like when you look at a pattern you think, oh, that's black, and you're used to it being black, and then when you actually look at the colour, it's very dark brown, you think, no, that's black, it's meant to be black. So I did it in black. So this is my finish. I absolutely love this, and I think I do have a frame for it because it's a little bit big to be a pillow, but I just love it. I just love it. The detail in it is amazing, and I really like it on this fabric. Really like it on this fabric. It's got blues and greys in it. There we go, probably there. Super, super happy with that one. So what's that? How many finishes have we seen now? 3? 3. The rabbit, that thing is called a strawberry, and this one. My 4th finish was a start and a finish. Now I'm doing 2 sort of challenges at the moment. I am doing 12 ornaments in 23, run by Carolings55 on Instagram, and I have also decided to take part in cross-stitch camp this year. So cross-stitch camp, the first one was something with a bird in it. The second challenge was something that grows. So I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll combine my 2 challenges, and I'd picked up this one out of the 2020 Just Cross Stitch Ornament Edition. This is by Open Road Abode Needleworks, Melody Gilmore, and this is called Holly Jolly Buffalo. I have the subscription to Readly, and Readly have the cross stitch special editions. I'm struggling for words today. Cross stitch special editions as part of their subscription, so hence why mine's on a bit of paper. And I stitched it on a piece of 32 count Fox and Rabbit Hog's Bristle. And I was watching Ros Clark Craft, and I saw that she'd done a finish, and she'd had a brilliant way of finishing it. She had used some of these. Now these are Sass and Bell coasters. Well, I don't know if hers was Sass and Bell, but when I bought them they were Sass and Bell coasters. And they look like big buttons, and they came in a pack of 6 for about £12 maybe. And she had finished her circular finish on the back of a button. So I was like, that is genius, Ros. I am going to buy myself some buttons and I'm going to finish. And this is what it looks like. So there is my Holly Jolly Buffalo, and obviously the thing that grows is the holly. And then it's finished on the back as a giant button. And I just finished it with a little bit of white ribbon at the top, and then mounted it on. Now, when I mount these, there's always a little bit of a gap. So I like to just put in, I've got some very, very thin chenille trim, and I like to use it just to sort of fill. Do you know what, Ros Clark? I've just mentioned your name and an Instagram notification's come up saying that you've just sent a photo. How funny is that? You must have known I was talking about you. So I like to just put a little bit of chenille trim in that gap, not so that you can see it from the front necessarily, but just so it looks a little bit more finished from the side. So I thought that was amazing. This is, what size is it? 45 by 49, and this is 32 count. So that is about the same, about the right size for the buttons. So happy with that. Very happy with that, in fact. I just love it. I just love it. I painted the back and then I sort of waxed it and distressed it a little bit. Okay, what else have I been working on? So, Christmas in July. Christmas in July, I have been working on my stitch along that I am doing with Alba Stitcher, who is Amanda, which is, now I told you I've got in a right pickle already. Let's do a little bit of floor organisation, shall we? There we go. Not quite. Dig in, dig in. This is cross-stitch archaeology. There it is. I'm trying hard not to edit and just put pictures in, because I know this is going to be a long video, and if I don't get it started uploaded, it won't be ready for tomorrow. Oops. So this is Crochet A Go Go Winter Sampler, and the hashtag is #Winter Sampler in July. There we go. And because I've had a couple of weeks on this, I have got some good progress on this. Not all the stitches are in the right place, however. So this is on a piece of 36 count Fibre on a Whim Affogato. And that is where I've got to. So I've got the house in the right place. The owl is not in the right place. There is something wrong with the tree as well, hence why there are only 3 cardinals and not 5. Although I do have space, I might put the other 2 cardinals, you can't see, down on the little plants below. So let me just see if I can give you a close-up of this sort of top corner where I've done most of the work. There we go. So I've just started on that basket. It's blowing out a little bit because I'm holding it right up under the light. There we go. But this is absolutely beautiful to work on. Absolutely beautiful. I'm using all the called for DMCs except for the white, which I'm using sulky white, just to give it a bit more density. But I am loving working on this, to the point where I'm considering putting 2023 on it, because it might get finished. That's the sure way to put the death knell on it, isn't it, to say that? But I am loving working on it so much. Now, the house I measured from the border. The border is right. Like I said, the owl somehow ended up a couple of stitches too low, but all I need to do is mirror that on the other side. And there are a few little snowflakes and things like that up there that I can just alter the placement of, just to fill the gaps a little bit. But was I going to take out that owl for 2 stitches too low? No, I wasn't. Was I going to take out that tree? Basically what's happened is, which one? This branch, or was it the one below? No, it's the branch with the birds on it. They should have been 1 stitch longer to lift everything up a little bit more, and that would have given me the room to put the birds in. But if they end up having 3 cardinals on, then they end up having 3 cardinals on. Onwards with stitching, not backwards, as Jean Lee would say. I'll make it work. And then the last thing that I have worked on, now let me get the pictures of these, because people always ask me about these. They're probably, as I've said, one of the most frequently asked about things that I'm stitching. Again, floor filing, is my Santas. So these are in the November-December edition of Just Cross Stitch magazine, not the special edition, just the November-December. And there they are. Now I have the CD-ROM of this, again, hence why it's on paper. So you can get the CD-ROM with all of these on. And all of the editions for certain years. So Just Cross Stitch, I think, has maybe 3 CD-ROMs that you can buy. And they go in sort of batches of years. So like the first one covers something like, I don't know, 83 to 92, and then the next one covers, you know, I don't know, but there's 3 different ones. Oh, that's nice. So make sure you get the right one. It needs to cover 2011. So there are those. And I finally managed to make my Santa look a little bit less creepy, because he's got eyes. So there's not a massive amount left to do on him. I've got a few stitches up in his top there to do. There's a little bit in his face, and then the odd ones down below. And then he will be ready for back stitching. And I just love the back stitching process on these. And that means I will have 3 out of the 4 done. So the only one I've got left to do is this one. And I just know as soon as I've got 3 done, the 4th one will whiz along, because I want them finished and I want them framed. So that's all my stitching. I've got one other finish. I finished this off as well. This is by, if I remember correctly, a freebie by Weedy Flower Creations. Now if that's not correct, somebody please correct me, because that's what I think. And it was the Royal Cipher, the Charles Royal Cipher. And I have a similar one finished for the late Queen, which I actually finished off on the day of her funeral, hence so it has a black back to it. I should have brought the other one down really. So that is the Royal Cipher with the half crown, and it's got some beads on it and a piece of hand-dyed purple fabric, and then on the back it just says Coronation 6th of the 5th 2023, and I finished it with a little bit of kind of silver rickrack and some pearl pins, so it goes quite nicely with my other one. Right, now we're into kind of haul, acquisitions, things like that. So I'm just going to go in no particular order basically, because if I start trying to dig then it's going to be difficult. So the first thing that I have signed up to is this stitch along. It's already well underway, and it's the number of people's that I'm seeing and I just absolutely love. It's called the Greenhouse of Oddities Sal by Lola Crow. Now it's got more than this in it. I haven't printed out the most recent one, but basically you've seen it. You had to stitch the outline of the greenhouse and basically you've been planting it up, and it's got some amazing plants in it. This one I particularly liked. As soon as that arrived I knew I had to stitch it. That's the Rafflesia flower. I've been to Borneo and I've seen the Rafflesia flowers. They were amazing. They stink. They stink of like rotting meat, which is how they attract the flies, which are pollinators. So I absolutely adored Borneo. It's one of my favourite places I've ever been. And the Rafflesia flower, and there's a fruit there called durian, and it stinks. You're not even allowed to take it on public transport. And the best way to describe it is it's like eating strawberries and cream in a public toilet. It tastes amazing, but it smells revolting. So I digress frequently. So of course I've got that, and I have this to stitch it on. This is a piece of Fibre on a Whim Silver Fox 36 count, which I think it will look great on. It should fit, but it would be a little bit tight on the sides, I think I decided it was. So on 16 count, which is equivalent, no, on 18 count, which is equivalent to 36 count, it's going to be 12.1 inches by 8.9 inches. So this is, the bit that would be 12.1 is 18 inches, that's plenty spare. The bit that would be the 8.9 inches is 12.5 on here, so it will fit and it'll give me enough room to frame. I'll probably just have to start it in the middle just to make sure that I've got some space. So that's not necessarily something for now, but it is something that I would like to stitch. I had a little delivery from Patchwork Rabbit in the week. So I showed you this one last week or week before, and I picked up all the blue threads for that one. Now somebody asked me in my last set of sort of comments, was I going to change the spelling? And I was like, took me a minute. Colour is obviously spelt the American way. Some would go as far as to say the incorrect way. But yes, I probably will. I will rechart that to include a U. I've got a U in nomenclature, so it's not going to be too too difficult just to shift that on, and there's plenty of space either side to make the colour spelled C-O-L-O-U-R. But I love that. I am currently listening to The Secret Life of Colour by Cassia St Clair, and I was going to bring the book in as well because I've got a copy of the book, but I've left it in the car. It is a fabulous book, and it literally goes through all of the shades of colours and tells you how they got their name and the history of them. So I am going to be listening to the audiobook of the blues while I stitch this. I'm hoping, and I'm sure I read somewhere, that Kathy is planning a series of these. So that is going to be amazing to listen to that and stitch those as we go. The other things that I got from Patchwork Rabbit. Now, did I get that from Patchwork Rabbit? No, I got that from Peakside. I did get something from Patchwork Rabbit, but not that. I'll come back to that. So I got that from Peakside. Apologies. I also got these from Peakside. So Erica Michaels Alpha Berries. I'm quite into the old strawberries at the minute. So that one. I also picked up Hands on Design, a couple of their new ones. These ones, which are Oh Christmas Tree. Now, these are 45 count by 45 count. If I stitch it on 32 count, like I did my Holly Jolly Buffalo, they will fit on the backs of these. So I shall be painting these buttons, probably red, I would have thought, maybe blue, to go on the back of these three. So I got those. And then I also got these from Hands on Design, because I just loved these little hexies. How much fun are they? Aren't they smart? So I picked up those. And then I got this one, another Cottage Garden Samplings one. And I've wanted to get this one as soon as it came out. To be 100% honest with you, I have not cared a jot about any of the others. Snowmen just aren't my thing, really, I'm guessing. But this one, it was the horse. I just thought the horse was amazing. Now, funny thing, horses aren't my thing. But this I really liked. There was something about this that I really, really liked. And I got the two fancy threads. This seems to be the way that Cottage Garden Samplings work. It's mostly DMC, and then there's a couple of fancy threads in each one. So it was Havana and Fawn from Weeks Dye Works, which I'm guessing are pretty much in the horse. Now, the thing that came from Patchwork Rabbit was my Fabric of the Month club. And the Fabric of the Month is Fibre on a Whim, and I get 32 count brick. Well, I get 32 count, and it was brick. Beautiful colour. Now, part of me thinks that I would like to put it on that. I think that would look lovely. I think the whites would really pop on that colour. So much so that I am going to put it back in the same bag. That is my plan. So I shall do that later. Gone very cavalier today, very cavalier. Right, I'll show you all of that together in a minute. Oh, I haven't done a freebie, and I have got a freebie. The freebie is by Mama Witch X Stitch, and this is on her Facebook group. I'm going to hold it back here, and I will try and put the picture of the stitch up there. It's called My Comfort Zone. So I thought about putting that on the door of my room where I keep all my stitchy stuff. But it's beautiful. It's got this cool little bird at the top, sort of an autumnal design, I'm holding it back. If you're going to go to the trouble of stopping the video and trying to copy it from there when you could get it for free on her Facebook group, then you're bonkers. There we go. I love stitching her stuff, it's brilliant. Just don't get around to it enough. What else have I got? Honestly, I told you I've been left unattended. I ordered this at the Stitchy retreat that I went to a couple of weekends ago with the Sampler Guild, and I was talking to Linda about this book, and I said, oh, you haven't got a copy of it, have you? Because they do sometimes bring books back from America, and this is available in America, and I've not seen it yet over here, and I've not seen it on Amazon or anything like that. It's called Sewing Rolls, Needle Rolls and Hussifs. Now I've been saying housewives. It's got a W in it, why would you not? I've never heard anybody say it. They're Hussifs. So this is by Dawn Cook Ronigan, and I didn't realise until it arrived it is signed. Ooh, signed. There we go. Now I don't think they've got any more of these for sale, but I know that I think that they're planning to try and get some more on the next trip. So it's a fabulous, fabulous book, all about those, exactly what it says on the tin there. Not many of them are sort of cross-stitched examples. Some of them are more fabric based, so they're made up using different fabrics rather than, whoops, cross-stitched pieces, but super, super interesting. I was very pleased to have that, as I said, because it's been very different to, very difficult to find. Right, what else have I got? I've got quite a bit more fabric because a lady was destashing quite a few pieces of fabric. Smaller pieces, but ideal for me when I'm thinking about designing to no colours. So she was just destashing a couple of pieces of Fox and Rabbit Hog's Bristle. So I'm going to hold these up so that you can kind of see what colours. Greeny neutral, I would say. Greeny neutral. So that's Fox and Rabbit Hog's Bristle. She was also destashing Fibre on a Whim brick. Now this is the Fibre on a Whim brick that came from the lady that I bought it from. You saw my Fibre on a Whim brick that I got with my Fox and Rabbit, Patchwork Rabbit. There's too many rabbits. Patchwork Rabbit Fabric of the Month. This is a 40 count, the other one was a 32 count I think I bought. Or did I buy 36? No, 32. So this one that you can see has got a much more of a mottle to it, but the same colourway. This is Fibre on a Whim Parchment. Now this is much more green than the Affogato, I think. It looks more greeny yellow to me. So if you put that and Hog's Bristle together, you can see they're kind of a greeny base neutral. This one is Fibre on a Whim Baked Clay, which may be a good solution to something. In just a second I will show you. This is Fox and Rabbit Winter Wren. This one is Fibre on a Whim Old Gold. Now, I've had some Old Gold before, it's lovely. And this one is Fox and Rabbit River Gum. I've just got a little piece of that. Almost the same colour as my paint. What else have I got? Oh, I told you it's going to be a long one today. I picked this up in my little favourite sort of vintage shop. Now, everybody has these little needle cases and stitching cases that they're taking to retreats. I'm wondering, can I get away with this? cute is that? It is a little set of drawers, tiny set of drawers, and I thought, could I take that to a retreat and just have it sat there and just open up a little drawer with all my Stitchy goodies in. It's got a little bit of inlay on it, and all the drawers are just, they're just perfect. They're so cute. So I couldn't resist that. I think it was something ridiculous, like £20. That's just, to me, that's just amazing. So I love that. Now I did also get myself one of those kind of leatherette cases with a plan to reline it. And so yesterday I had to go to Lampeter on a course. As luck would have it, Calico Kate is in Lampeter. So Calico Kate is the most fabulous, not needlework shop. Well, they've got needleworky stuff as well, but it's mostly sewing and fabric. Like 15 rooms of fabric just to rifle through. And I bought this, which is dark blue. It is actually dark blue. It looks black there, but it is actually dark blue. And that's what it looks like currently inside. So you've seen the kind of thing. So when I went to Calico Kate's yesterday after a course in Lampeter, now it was a course on health and safety, CLIAPS, who is like the governing body, or the, what are we going to call them? Advisory body. There we go, for health and safety in science, in DT, in art, and those sorts of things. So I went on this course and it was supposed to be 9 till 4. Calico Kate's is open 10 till 4. So you know it's like it's Friday and you're like, there's a chance you might want to finish early on a Friday. And so literally the first thing he said, oh, we're going to go a little bit quicker today. We'll take a little bit of a shorter lunch break because I need to get on the road. I've got to be in Yorkshire tomorrow. So we'll finish about 2:30. I was like, yes, because it meant I could go to Calico Kate's. Now I was parked 500 yards from Calico Kate's. I got drenched. So much so that when I walked into the shop, the lady said to me, would you like to hang your coat up? It was tipping it down yesterday, and although we are hoping for a bit of beach therapy, at the moment the weather in the UK is sort of a bit like November. Maybe slightly warmer, but a bit like November. We are not experiencing any of these extreme heat temperatures that are affecting other places, and I do feel for you if that is the case, but it's really cold here. So what fabrics did I pick up? I picked up William Morris fabrics. So I picked up this one, which is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I had seen one version of the Strawberry Thief fabric that I wanted to get, but they didn't have that one in stock. They had it in a different colour, but I didn't like that. So I went for these two instead. So that's going to be the interior of my case. Because if everyone's doing it, then I want to do it too. We've got to stay. I also picked up some of this, which is another William Morris. But I just thought, how amazing is that going to be for a drum top or a drum side? Something like that. Can I tell you what it's called? It's by Moda. No, it hasn't got the full bit on the selvage, but it is a William Morris fabric. And I also bought some Kaif Facet, because I think that's how she said it. I bought some of this purple brassica one, and I bought some purple binding, which I think I may have just dropped on the floor. Oh no, I didn't. And she said I'd be okay with this ordinary bias binding for the edge. So this is going to be my centre, and this is going to be my binding for this, which I've shown you before. It's a double-sided circular quilt bed top. So I'm going to put that in the middle and then bind it with the purple. And I also got her to find me some of the thread that she thought the other stitcher had used, so I can finish a little bit of the hand quilting that needs doing. So all those people who are coming after me for even suggested I might take the hand quilting out, I'm not. I'm going to carry it on. I'm going to finish it. And then I also bought, now I have got a lot of antique samplers that are out of frames, and I wanted to make a roll to keep them in so that they stay nice and flat, that I can put acid-free tissue paper in between them as well. And so I went to look for some fabric for that, and I found this amazing fabric by, is it Moda? Yeah, Moda. It is called Le Petit École by French General for Moda, and it has all of these cartouches on them. Now, first of all, I thought that would be great for making little cushions, just like little ones for scattering around on beds and things like that. But I am going to make it my roll, hence why I bought them going in this direction. They were charging per 8 alphabets, no, per 4 alphabets. So I bought 8, but I bought them in a continuous rather than across. And the reason that I went for this one in particular was because, let me get it. This one in particular reminded me of an Ackworth. You can get the circular Ackworth or the oval Ackworths with, just reminded me that particular type of typeface. There we go. And then this is the fabric that I bought to go on the inside. I think I may need another fabric as well for making like the ends of the roll, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But I probably only would go for like a plain fabric, and in which case if I probably looked in my stash I may have something. Now the last thing I have that you haven't seen is another little sampler. Now this is Sarah Slingsby, March 1852, and I love two things about this. I love the colours and I love the butterflies. She's stitched in wool, so when reproduced it's going to be quite a bit smaller. But I just loved the reds and the pinks in this. It says, "A charge to keep I have, a God to glorify, a never dying soul to save, and fit it for the sky." And it's her information is here and then over here. So it's stitched on with wool. I don't know what count it's on, but I just loved the colours and those butterflies in particular. Now, I don't know whether you think the same, but I think baked clay would be quite a good match for that. So let me just remind myself who it's by. It is Fox and Rabbit. Fox and Rabbit baked clay, I think, is going to be for the win on that particular sampler when I get around to reproducing it, or any of the others that I have. One of the things I really want to do this summer is make a proper inventory of all my samplers with pictures, and then start to sort of build up information about what I know about them. So I know a little bit about most of them, and I'd like to have it available as well for people to look at, not just for myself, so anybody can have a look through the samplers that I have. Right, I've bored you long enough. I will see you next week. Stay classy, Stitchers.